Hockey fans, it's another packed night across the NHL, and we've got you covered. From clutch saves to red-hot offenses and defensive collapses, we're breaking down every matchup you need to know before puck drop. Let's dive into tonight's games and find out where the real value lies on the ice. Tonight, we open with the Ottawa Senators taking on the Boston Bruins. The Atlantic Division Titans meet under the lights in Boston, where both clubs enter separated by inches in the standings but worlds apart in their playing styles. The Bruins sit at 8-7-0, holding fourth place with 16 points, while Ottawa stands at 6-5-2, chasing from fifth with 14 points. For both teams, this is more than just another divisional matchup, it's about identity and momentum. With Montreal and Detroit setting the early pace in the division, this one becomes a tone setter. Win tonight, and you stake your claim as the next serious riser in the Atlantic. Ottawa's heartbeat remains Drake Batherson, who's been nothing short of sensational. 15 points in 10 games, 4 multi-point efforts, and a +4 rating make him the pulse of the Senators' attack. Shane Pinto's 8 goals in 13 outings highlight their finishing depth, while Tim Stützle and Jake Sanderson drive play with control and pace. The Senators average 3.4 goals per game, fifth best in the East, powered by a dangerous 27% power play that can strike from every angle. Yet, their defensive balance remains fragile, allowing 3.6 goals per game and keeping contests far too open. Boston, meanwhile, counters with precision and structure. David Pastrnak continues to lead the charge with 18 points in 15 games, supported by Morgan Geekie's surprising 9 goals and 11 assists. Charlie McAvoy anchors the blue line with a steady 24-minute workload and elite zone exits that maintain the team's balance. Boston's identity still revolves around structure, balance, and disciplined execution. Their special teams define them. An 18% power play and a sturdy 82% penalty kill form the backbone of their system. Momentum leans slightly toward Boston, winners of 3 of their last 5, including tight victories over Carolina and the Islanders. Ottawa, on the other hand, has split their last 5, blending dominant wins over Calgary and the Islanders with tough losses against Chicago and Montreal. The Senators can score with anyone, but they trade chances freely, while Boston grinds opponents down with suffocating defense and patience. Between the pipes, it's Jeremy Swayman for Boston and Linus Ullmark likely rotating in depending on workload. Swayman's 5-4-0 record and .882 save percentage don't tell the full story. He's faced a heavy volume of high-quality shots behind Boston's evolving blue line. Ullmark's steadier at .888 with 5 wins, but both clubs need more crease control to dictate games. Ottawa's defense allows too many rebound looks, while Boston's efficiency in clearing the slot could prove decisive. Expect the Bruins to lean on their top 6 forecheck, face-off dominance, and puck possession edge. Ottawa's speed can stretch Boston's structure, but the Bruins' transition coverage and Pasternak's line chemistry should tilt late-game control. Look for Boston's defense to neutralize Pinto's middle lane attacks, forcing Ottawa to settle for perimeter chances. The Senators' power play will test Boston's kill, but the Bruins' discipline and home ice edge point toward a more measured outcome. Boston's X factors could very well be their secondary scorers. Pavel Zacha's balanced 13-point start and Victor Arvidsson's high motor play provide depth that sustains pressure without sacrificing structure. Ottawa will rely on Claude Giroux's poise and Thomas Chabot's puck movement to steady transitions, but they'll need tighter defensive gaps to prevent Boston's cycle game from taking over. In tight games like this, face-offs and second-effort plays tilt the balance, and Boston's veteran poise gives them that slight edge. Still, Ottawa has enough offensive punch to make this a hard-fought contest if they can capitalize on turnovers and get timely saves. Final score prediction: Bruins 4, Senators 2, structured pressure, special teams consistency, and late-game composure carry Boston past an Ottawa team still learning to turn skill into stability. The night continues in Newark, where the Montreal Canadiens visit the New Jersey Devils in a clash that feels like a playoff tone-setter. Montreal comes in at 9-3-1, tied for first in the Atlantic with 19 points, while New Jersey sits 9-4-0, trailing only Pittsburgh in the Metropolitan with 18 points. Both clubs are flying high, Montreal seeking validation for its rise, and New Jersey defending a perfect 5-0 home record. Momentum meets resilience at the Prudential Center, and both benches know this one carries weight. Montreal's surge has been powered by leadership and balance. Captain Nick Suzuki drives the offense with 19 points in 13 games, including 3 goals and 16 assists, while maintaining a strong plus rating. Cole Caulfield adds finishing punch with 10 goals on an eye-popping 28% shooting clip. Rookie Lane Hutson continues to impress from the blue line, and Arbor Jekajay's physicality provides edge and attitude. For New Jersey, Jack Hughes remains the engine, 10 goals, 6 assists, 16 points, while Jesper Bratt's playmaking and Dawson Mercer's relentless two-way presence bring balance. The Devils' depth with Nico Hischier and Timo Meier gives them a multi-layered attack that keeps opponents off balance. Between the pipes, goaltending looms as the deciding factor. Montreal turns to Samuel Montembeault, 3-3-0 with an .855 save percentage, steady, but tested, while Jake Allen waits in reserve. Across the crease, the Devils rely on Jake Allen's opposite number, with a 5-2-0 record and a .914 save rate backed by Jacob Markstrom's veteran consistency. If Montembeault can weather early pressure, Montreal's transition game could flip the ice and open high-danger chances for Suzuki and Caulfield off the rush. The Canadiens' blue line will need composure, particularly Hutson and Dobson, to counter Hughes' explosive entries. Recent form shows the contrast. Montreal has gone 4-1-0 in their last 5, grinding out overtime wins and tightening defensively, while New Jersey has also gone 4-1-0, averaging over 4 goals per game and dominating Anaheim and Los Angeles in back-to-back home wins. Both teams are clicking offensively, but Montreal's defensive numbers, allowing 3.6 goals per game, suggest vulnerability against a Devils squad that thrives on chaos and pressure. Expect Mercer and Bratt to lead the forecheck, challenging Montreal's breakout with quick recoveries. This matchup could hinge on special teams. Montreal's 24% power play meets New Jersey's 87% penalty kill. Suzuki's unit moves the puck well through the slot, but the Devils kill aggressively, attacking even while short-handed. The neutral zone will be the battlefield. If Montreal's defense can slow New Jersey's zone entries, they can force a half-court style game. Both teams will lean on their top lines, but watch for the depth players like Alex Newhook for Montreal and Luke Glendening for New Jersey, potential swing factors late. Expect a fast-paced, high-chance battle that could reach overtime. Montreal's creativity will test New Jersey's blue line, but the Devils' home form and goaltending edge feel decisive. Prediction: Devils 4, Canadiens 3 in overtime. Execution, depth, and composure make the difference in a thrilling, end-to-end contest. Next up, it's the Washington Capitals and Pittsburgh Penguins renewing one of hockey's most iconic rivalries. It's never just another game when these two meet, and tonight in Pittsburgh, the stakes are clear: early divisional control, pride, and momentum. The Penguins sit 8-4-2, tied atop the Metropolitan Division, while Washington trails close behind at 7-5-1 with 15 points. Both clubs understand the significance, divisional seeding and psychological edge in a race already tightening. Washington enters with structure and defense. Their 2.33 goals against average ranks among the league's best, anchored by Logan Thompson, who's been spectacular. At 6-2-3 with a .938 save percentage and 1.51 goals against, Thompson has been calm, composed, and rarely rattled. Tom Wilson leads the way offensively with 15 points, his physicality and energy setting the tone. Dylan Strome's 8 assists and team best +6 rating showcase his versatility. Yet, Washington's offense remains inconsistent at 2.58 goals per game and a 15% power play conversion rate. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, runs on speed and experience. Averaging 3.5 goals per game, the Penguins still thrive through Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. Malkin's 19 points and 16 assists power a lethal 32.4% power play, while Crosby's 9 goals highlight his precision. The Penguins' defense, anchored by Chris Letang and Erik Karlsson, blends composure and creativity, and their penalty kill at 83% reinforces their two-way maturity. Momentum swings have defined both teams' recent stretches. Washington snapped a 3-game skid with a 6-1 rout of St. Louis, while Pittsburgh has alternated between 3 straight wins and 2 close road losses. Both know this game can swing confidence for weeks. The goaltending duel feels playoff caliber. Thompson's poise faces Tristan Jarry's experience. Jarry sits at a .911 save percentage and 2.60 goals against average, reliable but streaky. Whoever settles in early could dictate the night's rhythm. Washington must slow transitions, block lanes, and lean on their forecheck to grind Pittsburgh's top 6. Pittsburgh will counter with stretch plays, activating their defense, and exploiting seams off the rush. In the end, Pittsburgh's offensive layers and star power should prevail. Final score prediction: Penguins 4, Capitals 2. Power play precision and veteran poise define this rivalry's latest chapter. We close in Dallas, where the Anaheim Ducks visit the Stars in what's shaping up as one of the season's most intriguing early tests. Anaheim sits atop the Pacific at 8-3-1, a young team suddenly playing with belief and identity. Dallas, at 7-3-3, remains near the top of the Central but is still seeking rhythm. It's momentum versus method, youth versus experience. Anaheim's balance has been its weapon. Leo Carlsson leads the way with 18 points and a +7 rating, his poise anchoring an offense scoring 3.9 goals per game. Cutter Gauthier's breakout 10-goal start adds finishing touch, while Troy Terry and Mason McTavish provide secondary sparks. The Ducks' defense has stabilized under Jacob Trouba and Radko Gudas' physicality and presence. Goalie Lucas Dostal holds a .912 save percentage, giving Anaheim steady confidence. Dallas counters with its veteran core. Mikko Rantanen has been stellar with 17 points, Wyatt Johnston adds 14, and Jason Robertson with Ropa Hintz drive the top line. Miro Heiskanen continues to log heavy minutes while Jake Oettinger remains dependable in net, with a .913 save percentage and 2.54 goals against average. Momentum favors Anaheim, winners of 4 straight, outscoring opponents 19-8 over that span, including a 7-3 blowout of Florida and a 4-1 win over New Jersey. Dallas has been less consistent, managing tight victories but struggling to sustain rhythm. The matchup in net is razor-thin. Dostal's 6-3-1 record and confidence against Oettinger's composure. If Dallas turns to back up Scott Wedgwood, the edge tilts Anaheim's way. Anaheim thrives on pace, attacking wide lanes and opening seams. Dallas prefers structure, patient defense, and cycle play. The clash in tempo should define the outcome. Anaheim's 5-on-5 chemistry has been crisp, while Dallas relies heavily on its power play to tilt momentum. Expect Anaheim to press early and stretch the Stars' defensive shape. Gauthier's hot stick could be the X factor. Prediction: Ducks 4, Stars 2, Anaheim's youth and speed overwhelm late as Dostal outduels Oettinger in a statement win for the Pacific's youngest contender. Finally, the Florida Panthers face off against the Los Angeles Kings in a matchup of contrasting rhythms. Florida sits 6-6-1, 6th in the Atlantic, while the Kings stand 6-4-4, 4th in the Pacific, each searching for the spark to define their season. Florida has been streaky, brilliant offensively but vulnerable defensively. Los Angeles has found steadiness, coming off a 3-0 shutout over Winnipeg. For Florida, Brad Marchand leads the offense with 13 points in 12 games, while rookie Mackie Samoskevich has added 7 assists and a burst of energy. The team averages 3.08 goals against per game, with Sergei Bobrovsky posting a 6.40 record, 2.82 goals against average, and an .883 save rate. Their power play at 20% shows promise, but the penalty kill remains leaky at just 75%. The Kings counter with balance and structure. Adrian Kemp has 16 points, Andrzej Kopitar and Kevin Fiala supply secondary scoring, and Drew Doughty's leadership anchors a defensive core improved by Joel Edmondson. In net, Darcy Kuemper has been solid with a 2.57 GAA and .900 save percentage through 10 games. Their 83% penalty kill and defensive zone discipline have been key to their consistency. Momentum slightly favors the Kings, who have won 3 of their last 5. Florida's offense can catch fire, but their back end often leaves Bobrovsky exposed. The duel in net will be pivotal, Bobrovsky's acrobatics against Kuemper's calm positioning. If Kuemper's glove stays sharp, Los Angeles should control tempo through the neutral zone. Expect LA to slow Florida's breakout, force dump-ins, and grind out shifts with puck possession. Florida's transition game remains their wild card, but special teams likely decide this one. The Panthers' power play meets a disciplined Kings penalty kill, and that may tip the balance. Both teams excel when dictating pace, so whichever side establishes control early could dominate the rhythm. Prediction: Kings 3, Panthers 2, a tight, tactical battle where Los Angeles' structure and goaltending edge hold firm against Florida's offensive surges. Next, Buffalo. 2 teams skating in opposite directions meet at KeyBank Center as the Sabres host the St. Louis Blues. The Sabres sit at 5-4 with a solid 4.52 home record, while the Blues stand at 4-8, still searching for traction on the road at 2.40. For Buffalo, this game represents a chance to climb above the early season logjam in the Atlantic Division, where they sit with 14 points chasing Montreal and Detroit. St. Louis, meanwhile, lingers at the bottom of the Central Division with just 10 points, desperate to stabilize before their season slips any further. It's a mid-autumn matchup that feels like a must-win for both sides, Buffalo chasing momentum, St. Louis fighting to stop the bleeding. Statistically, these teams mirror each other, yet their trajectories tell a deeper story. Both average 2.85 goals per game, but Buffalo defends a touch better, holding opponents to 3.08 goals against per game compared to the Blues' 4.0. The Sabres also hold a clear edge on special teams, with a near 90% penalty kill and a more structured defensive approach anchored by goaltender Alex Leone, who's provided rare steadiness with a 3.43 goals against average and 8.915 save percentage. St. Louis leans heavily on Jordan Binnington, who's battled through inconsistency at 3.08 GAA and .859 save percentage, while Joel Hofer has struggled with an .836 mark. Offensively, Alex Tuch headlines Buffalo's surge with 12 points, 5 goals and 7 assists, backed by Tage Thompson's 10 points and Rasmus Dahlin's 8 assists from the blue line. That trio drives Buffalo's balanced, up-tempo attack, skilled, fast, and capable of changing a game in a single shift. For St. Louis, the offense has been far less stable. Pavel Buchnevich leads with 8 points, while Robert Thomas has 6 assists. Jake Neighbors' 6 goals were one of the few bright spots before his injury sidelined him until December. With Neighbors out and Zach Dean gone long-term, secondary scoring must now come from Jordan Kyrou and Jimmy Snuggerud, both sitting at 8 points but struggling in the plus-minus column. Recent form tells a similar contrast. Buffalo's last 5 outings include a tight 4-3 shootout win over Washington but also 4 overtime losses, all by a single goal. They're in every game, but they can't seem to close. St. Louis, meanwhile, has dropped 4 of their last 5, capped by a 6-1 loss to the Capitals that highlighted the defensive breakdowns that have haunted them for weeks. Their lone win came against Edmonton, a reminder they can rise to the occasion, but consistency continues to elude them. Between the pipes, tonight's goaltending duel could decide the outcome. Alex Lyon has emerged as Buffalo's calming presence, compact, efficient, and confident, stopping 301 of 329 shots faced. Across the ice, Binnington remains unpredictable. When locked in, he can steal games. When off, the scoreboard tilts fast. His 3.08 GAA hides stretches of brilliance behind a defense that's left him exposed. Expect Lions' composure to anchor Buffalo's effort, especially in the third period where the Sabres have quietly become one of the NHL's more disciplined teams. Strategically, this matchup tilts toward Buffalo's depth and defensive balance. Their blue line, powered by Dahlin and Samuelsson, moves the puck quickly in transition and pushes play forward cleanly. The Sabres' penalty kill has been a real weapon, while the Blues' power play, just 17 power play points in 13 games, continues to sputter. For St. Louis to stay in it, they'll need cleaner zone exits, more traffic in front of Lyon, and better gap control. Buffalo's forecheck, led by Touch and Thompson, thrives on chaos. If the Blues' defense bends early, it could unravel quickly. The X factor sits on special teams and tempo. If Buffalo dictates the pace, stretching the ice and forcing long shifts, they should control the game. The Sabres' balance, goaltending steadiness, and home ice confidence give them the edge. Expect a strong early push from St. Louis, but Buffalo's top line and blue line stability should close it out. The pick here is the Buffalo Sabres to win, with the total going over 5.5. In Raleigh, it's the Minnesota Wild versus the Carolina Hurricanes, a matchup between two teams in very different rhythms. Minnesota enters at 5-6-3, 7th in the Central Division, still trying to claw back to .500 after a turbulent start. Carolina, sitting at 8-4-0 and 3rd in the Metropolitan, has rediscovered its identity, especially at home, where they're 3-1-0 at PNC Arena. It's a November game that means more than it seems. One team fighting to sustain momentum, the other trying to build it. Minnesota's season has been defined by close calls and narrow losses. Their 3.64 goals against average says it all. They can score, but they can't contain. Kirill Kaprizov remains their heartbeat, leading the team with 18 points in 14 games, including 8 goals and 10 assists. Matt Boldy and Marco Rossi have contributed secondary offense, but defensive lapses continue to haunt the Wild. Carolina, meanwhile, is playing with poise and balance. Seth Jarvis has been excellent. 8 goals and 12 points in 12 games, while Sebastian Aho continues to orchestrate with 8 assists, controlling tempo with calm precision. On the blue line, Mike Riley's +10 rating speaks volumes about Carolina's defensive structure. They're cohesive, efficient, and rarely caught off balance. The numbers tell the tale. Carolina averages 3.58 goals per game to Minnesota's 2.79 and allows just 2.67 compared to the Wild's 3.64. On special teams, the Wild's power play has been excellent at 31.5%, driven by Kaprizov's creativity and Boldy's timing in front, but their penalty kill sits at a concerning 66.7%. That's a dangerous imbalance against a Carolina club that, while modest on the power play at 11.4%, thrives on a disciplined 83.7% kill and an aggressive forecheck that forces turnovers. Expect Carolina to test Minnesota's discipline early. Momentum shows two teams heading opposite directions. Minnesota snapped a losing streak with back-to-back wins over Vancouver and Nashville, scoring 8 goals in those 2 games. Before that, they dropped 3 straight, allowing 15 goals combined. Their goaltending has mirrored their inconsistency. Philip Gustafsson sits at 4.61 with an .890 save percentage, struggling for rhythm, while Jesper Wallstedt's early struggles at .863 haven't provided much relief. Carolina's last 5 games tell a steadier story, a 6-2 win over the Islanders and a 3-0 shutout of the Rangers offset by narrow losses to Boston and Vegas. Their structure remains sound. In net, it's Gustafsson versus Frederik Andersen. Andersen's 2.96 GAA and .894 save percentage don't tell the full story. He's been composed and tracking pucks well. Gustafsson faces more traffic, over 31 shots a night to Andersen's 27. In a game likely decided by one mistake, the steadier glove wins out. Carolina's structure, home ice, and depth should prevail. The Hurricanes' neutral zone discipline and transition control will suffocate Minnesota's rush chances. Kaprizov's brilliance keeps the Wild in it, but Carolina's layers and Andersen's composure should carry them to a confident home win. The prediction: Hurricanes to win, total over 5.5. Finally, in Nashville, the Flyers face the Predators in a game loaded with urgency and midseason meaning. Philadelphia arrives at 7-5-1 after a thrilling shootout win over Montreal. Nashville, sitting at 5-6-4, is desperate to end a string of close losses after back-to-back overtime heartbreakers. The Flyers hold fourth in the Metro with 15 points, while the Predators sit buried in a Central Division logjam with Dallas and Chicago. For Philadelphia, this is a chance to prove their grind-it-out road identity. For Nashville, it's about halting the slide. Trevor Zegras has transformed the Flyers' top six, leading the team with 15 points and 11 assists through 13 games. Bobby Brink's scoring touch, 5 goals so far, adds punch, while Travis Konechny and Sean Couturier continue to drive pace and possession. On the blue line, Cam York and Travis Sanheim have been the anchors, holding opponents to just 2.69 goals per game. In net, Dan Vladar has been a quiet revelation, 5-3 with 8.912 save percentage and 2.33 GAA, while the Flyers' penalty kill remains sharp at 87%, a game-changer in tight contests. For Nashville, Philip Forsberg continues to lead the charge, 6 goals, 5 assists, and a team-best 47 shots. Luke Evangelista adds 7 assists, while veterans Ryan O'Reilly and Michael Bunting bring grit and scoring depth. But finishing has been the issue. The Predators average just 2.53 goals per game while allowing 3.40, and their power play remains stagnant. Juuse Saros, the longtime backbone, has faced 381 shots in 12 starts, posting a .900 save percentage and 2.95 GAA. When he's sharp, Nashville looks dangerous. When rebounds leak, their structure crumbles. The Flyers have won 3 of their last 5, including shootout wins over Pittsburgh and Montreal. Nashville has gone 1-3-1 in its last 5, with 2 overtime losses in 3 nights. Their only win came against Calgary, powered by Forsberg and O'Reilly. Lately, Nashville's defense has faltered late in games, while Philadelphia has closed strong, especially in low-scoring contests where their penalty kill makes the difference. Goaltending will be key again. Vladar's calm, positionally sound approach fits Philadelphia's structured defensive identity. Across from him, Saros remains capable of brilliance but has been stretched thin by workload. If the Flyers sustain offensive zone time, they can wear him down. Tactically, expect a battle of tempo and spacing. The Flyers' forecheck and neutral zone control force turnovers and create quick scoring looks, while Nashville counters with stretch passes and Forsberg's rush pressure. Special teams could decide it. Philadelphia's penalty kill against Nashville's inconsistent power play leans heavily toward the visitors. The X factors are clear. For the Flyers, it's Zegras' playmaking and Brink's finishing. For Nashville, Forsberg's spark and the home crowd's energy. Over 60 minutes, structure and discipline usually win out, and the Flyers have both. Philadelphia's defensive shape and goaltending advantage should carry them to a tough, physical road win. Expect another tight contest, but the Flyers skate out with 2 points. The total likely goes over 4.5, and in Las Vegas, it's a marquee battle between 2 heavyweights, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Vegas Golden Knights. Tampa enters at 6-5-2, sitting 5th in the Atlantic and fighting for traction behind Montreal and Detroit. Vegas stands 7-2-3, second in the Pacific, just a point behind Anaheim. The Lightning edged Vegas 2-1 in overtime in their first meeting, and tonight feels like another statement game, one team chasing consistency, the other defending pride on home ice. Tampa's offense has been steady if unspectacular, led by Jake Guentzel's 12 points in 13 games and Anthony Cirelli's 7 goals. Victor Hedman continues to anchor the blue line with 10 assists and A+2 rating. Tampa averages 2.85 goals per game, allowing 2.77, with a power play converting at 18.8%. Vegas counters with depth and star power. Jack Eichel has been electric. 19 points in 12 games, 8 goals, 11 assists, while Pavel Dorofeev's 9 goals lead the team. Mitch Marner's 14 points and +8 rating highlight the Knights' two-way precision. Vegas averages 3.33 goals per game while allowing just 2.58, anchored by a penalty kill north of 80%. In goal, it's a duel between two of the league's most reliable. Andrei Vasilevsky carries a 2.67 GAA and .900 save percentage through 9 games, steady and technical as ever, while Jonas Johansson backs him up effectively at .916. Vegas turns to Akira Schmid with Adin Hill sidelined, and he's been superb. 6-1, a 2.31 GAA, and a .918 save percentage. Momentum favors Vegas slightly. The Lightning have won 4 of their last 5, including road wins over Dallas, Utah, and Nashville before a narrow 3-2 loss to Colorado. Vegas snapped a 3-game skid with a 1-0 shutout over Detroit, a win that restored confidence. Before that, they'd dropped games to Carolina and Colorado, showing brief inconsistency but maintaining elite structure. The key tonight will be tempo. Tampa thrives when it transitions fast. Cirelli's two-way engine and Hedman's breakout vision stretch the ice, but Vegas dominates when the pace slows. Their neutral zone control and layered defensive support force opponents into mistakes. Tampa's balanced lines keep them competitive in low-scoring games, but Vegas's top 6 can overwhelm in waves. Expect Vegas to use their home ice and structure to dictate play. Vasilevsky will keep Tampa in it, but Schmid's poise and the Golden Knights' balanced attack should carry the night. Vegas gets revenge for that overtime loss and closes it out late. Expect a tense, tactical battle between two playoff-built teams. The pick: Vegas Golden Knights win, total over 4.5. That wraps up our NHL breakdown for tonight. If you found these insights helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Beyond the Box Score, and turn on notifications so you never miss our daily picks and predictions. Drop your favorite team or prediction in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.